Deena, share with us the hardest lesson you've had to learn as a gym owner.
Getting to know my numbers, knowing what's actually going on in my business rather than burying my head in the sand.
How exactly does one learn that lesson?
Well, I came into it thinking I could just be a coach and help people, but bills have got to be paid, so you need to kind of make sure you know what's coming in, what's going out, because every month is different as well. So that was one of the biggest wake-up calls for me.
Yeah. John, you had to build on this one too. Go ahead.
Well, as you were as a gym owner, right? You just said I got into it to help other people, but as you quickly realized, if you're not looking at the numbers, nobody is.
Yep.
What happened? Something happened that caused you to all of a sudden go, uh-oh, I need to be thinking this next level. I can't just be only doing this one thing.
Yeah. It happened pretty quickly for me. So before I even opened the gym, I thought, my friends and family would sign up and I'd just have money straight away. And that didn't happen. So I quickly needed to know who I needed to target, how I could get people in, how many people I needed to cover my rent, the electricity, the water. So yeah, it started pretty much in the first 3 months when people just didn't sign up when I built it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that it's a lie, right? It's a dirty, dirty lie that Hollywood from America has put on the world, which is if you build it, they will come. Right?
And they didn't show up.
Nothing is further from the truth. Nothing works that way. It's crazy to me. I've developed this theory on that thing. This that I really think that that phrase gets put out there to keep people poor. It's crazy to me, that idea, and that's the way I thought business worked forever. I just make my thing. I have my idea, and then I just that same thing. If you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. No fucking way, because a mousetrap costs about 6 cents, and if yours is better and it's $2, and then by the time it has to get to market, it's 15. Nobody gives a fuck about your better mousetrap. It does not matter. It doesn't work. The whole thing's got to make sense from the beginning. And damn it, does that thing suck? You build it, here I am. And then there's oh, that's not the only piece.
Yep.
It's brutal.
Yeah. It was brutal, really brutal.
But we've done it with online stuff too, John and I, where we've had clients come in, they want to build a thing, and we help go forward, and we find out we build a thing, programs, courses, whatever, and they're great, except there's no traffic. And it's the same thing with the business where you're oh, here it is. Well, is my traffic making me money? Is the traffic I'm getting enough? Is the walk-ins through the door? Am I closing at low rates, high rates? Am I making a lot of money per transaction or none? Am I stretched too thin? Am I booked completely and I still can't pay the bills? How does any of this work? And all that falls on us so goddamn fast in the gym business because we're too busy coaching.
It does.
Yeah, it's gnarly.
So you referenced how you got started. So maybe take us back to, right? You said you had to figure it out quickly because you built it. Nobody came. So what did that look like for you? What did your place look like? What was the gym? What did you look like? What was what got you started to decide to take on that new role?
I just wanted to help people. Honestly, when I got into it, I had a passion for just helping people move their body better. I often reference that it saved me from self-destruction. I won't go into my story, but it was something that I just really took to, wanted to know more about. And I just wanted to be a PT and I just wanted to coach people. It came pretty easily to me. And I saw people doing it pretty badly in the gym that I did train at. So initially just wanted a little PT studio.
Yeah.
Help a couple of moms out, and that grew quickly into having a gym, having an investor who was my client. My sister got involved, and then it kind of went to shit.
All of those sound dangerous, dangerous steps.
So deadly.
We built it. It was great. 15-hour days were tough. Single mom. The kids were coming with me. I was here 6 o'clock in the morning coaching. had to go back, sort school run, get back, finish at 9 o'clock. And I got burnt out really quickly. And then life happens outside of the doors and you still got to keep it going. I won't say it spiraled. It just kind of pushed me to know my numbers, know what I needed to do, set myself targets. And I couldn't just show up, help people and go home.
And I think, so you're taking us on this journey and you referenced the numbers again. So what are the numbers? What are the numbers for you? What were they then? And maybe how have those maybe changed? But what is it that you're focusing so heavily on as a gym owner?
For me, it was just paying the rent. It has now become an expensive hobby. But before 2020, I was doing well. The numbers were good. You know, I was making the money. Bills were being paid and I was going to start paying myself.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah. So close. So close.
Oh, yeah. I feel that.
Where's home, Deena? So folks that are listening and watching.
Home is Northamptonshire in the UK, a little town called Daventry. So yeah, going from 0 clients to 50 members within our first 6 months was good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I had to borrow money from family and friends just to pay the rent. We had bailiffs because we fell into rent arrears in the first 6 months. And it was a scramble to get people through the doors.
So it was a mess isn't the word I want to use, but it was a unexpectedly challenging almost immediately, huh?
Yeah.
And then you got clear a little bit and then COVID stuff.
Yes.
Gnarly, dude. That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a story we're hearing these things from all over the world, so you're definitely not alone. What exactly now how your gym came to be though is really what your gym is very interesting to me, because your gym is the model that if I had to open a gym that I would use, meaning there's globogym equipment. Kind of, it's not simply an open space with gyms and barbells. It's not a traditional functional fitness gym on its own, but like combining bodybuilding and globogym equipment, still track work for sled work and things like this. But you've got the setup that if I had to start up my gym tomorrow, equipment wise and flow wise, that's exactly what it would look like for me. So having seen your gym, what's your gym called again?
It's Imperial Bodies.
Imperial Bodies, is that it is it's to me that's the style of coaching, the framework with which the tools that I would use if I wanted to coach people. So having seen this gym, there's so many interesting things from a business model perspective and services that can be offered and like specialty types of things that could be built into that thing. So when I see your gym like on Instagram, I was like, oh, there's you have the potential. It's a dope spot. So many of these functional fitness spaces, it's a warehouse. And when a person walks in, a person who doesn't know anything about fitness, they walk in and they look around and go, well, what am I paying for here? But you go into your spot, it's like, oh, that looks like things I see in other gyms that do this. And that looks like the things I see in gyms that don't do that. And it kind of seems like a place where you could do almost anything.
Yep. That's what I wanted. I definitely wanted people to get up and move. And I think like John as well, and obviously Tyler, I know you from the podcast with Julian at Strong Fit.
Yeah.
He was one of the first people that I kind of went to see when I qualified in 2015. So I was an early follower of him.
Yeah.
Loved his principles, got a load of sandbags, got a sled. And I loved the bodybuilding side. Bodybuilding is what got me into fitness. So I had to combine the two alongside a little bit of CrossFit because that's what I loved.
It's fun.
Yeah, and it's fun and it pushes you. So when I was looking to help people, it was taking a little bit of everything. So it was always varied. You couldn't get bored because once you've done a little bit of bodybuilding, you could move on to something else. So yeah, that's what I wanted to create. And obviously having your numbers, knowing your numbers, I was always spending money to get more stuff.
Yeah.
To build this space. So I went from a small unit to something nearly triple the size just before 2020 happened. So yeah, I kind of earned money and reinvested it.
Yeah.
Built an epic
perfect.
space.
Timing's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, but
yeah.
It got me here.
What are at what point throughout all of this, and there's probably a few moments throughout this, but at what point throughout this whole process from starting the gym to location one to things, what moment did it really get real though? Are you like, not only are you like, I'm in this, I'm doing it, it's maybe harder than I thought, but you really dug in, you're like, this still is my thing. When did this be confirmed that it was real as hell to you?
Probably would have been about 2018. Paying normal bills was pretty easy. I didn't need to, the money side wasn't an issue. It was pretty successful. I was able to pay a coach. And that's when I was like, I've either got to grow this space or take back time for myself. So I decided to go 24 hours with the help of a lock. So I didn't have to always be at the gym. And I think that just made things worse.
So hold on, let's share that, because that
you have a 24-hour access to
your 24 hours.
Yeah,
which I love the idea. I've never fleshed out the execution of it. So
let's
talk
hear
about that.
Yeah. So being a mum, having to be at home with the kids, I couldn't be at the gym for 15 hours a day anymore. I needed something. Now I had kind of people at the gym that I could trust to kind of not run it, but they were there if people needed help. So I invested in a little door lock. It cost me like 350 quid, where people could just put in a PIN number, checked it through with the insurance, and as long as we was an over 18 gym and we had all the T's and C's, it was easy and it worked like a dream. But then you're a 24-hour gym, so people think you run 24 hours. So the calls started and little text messages, and we got more people coming because we were the only 24-hour gym in Daventry, which was great from a business side, but it just meant more work.
Yeah,
because it never stops.
No, it doesn't ever, from toilet leaks to roof leaks to door problems.
And when it comes to execution, is it still now? Like, is it just you? Like, who's the one that's manning the phone calls and the text messages and the emails and then all those other pieces as you've been growing or as time's gone on? Like, how has that evolved? What did that look like originally? What does it look like now?
A lot of it still remains me. I was lucky from 2017-18 to start getting reception staff. So they'd be there at the front desk dealing with new sign-ups, taking phone calls. But I still manage the online side of it. So any web forms, emails, they come directly to me. Phone calls, it's not so bad. It's about 50-50. If the desk staff can't deal with the questions, then they just kind of grab me or send them my number. So it's not as intense, but I don't want to let it all go. I can't let it all go because it has been built on me and my name and that reputation.
Yeah. That's a piece that John and I have talked about a little bit too, where it's like, it's really hard to, like, the first thing you want to preserve is your voice. Like, obviously you want somebody at some point, correspondence need to not be you all the time. Of course, it's just inevitably at some point, it can't all be you, but you're like, damn, some of that generic salesy copy language just sucks. And if people thought they were getting you and they got that, you would be offended as the one you think that they're getting, let alone them. They may not care, but you just don't like being misrepresented like that. It's really, really challenging. It's the same thing with, I was talking to a friend yesterday who owns a gym, and that, like, it's tough because he has full control over the quality of what goes on the gym floor right now because he does most of the coaching. So I know it's good. I know the people getting coaching are getting great work because it's fucking me. It's me doing it. I know this. And as the owner, you're like, bam, quality control. I got that nailed. But he said, he's like, yeah, I'm kind of getting at that point where it's hard, and to be able to take a step forward and put somebody who's like less capable than you, or like less funny or less charming or less interesting or whatever it is, you're like sitting there like, shit. And even if it takes a 10% dip in quality, what's on the floor is that you're like, well, but it saves you 100% of your effort. So you kind of have to take that, and then you can coach that up. But that is a painful process. And you got kids. As they get older, that's what this feels like. Is it feels like your kid's getting older. And you're like, I gotta start nudging a little bit of this away, and it hurts a little bit every time. And some of it you're never going to get back, and you just got to take the good with the bad. It is a really challenging growth process as you have to start letting go of those things within the gym. It's hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
But like you said, you need to make it happen. I think I've been lucky with the coach that I have got helping me on the floor. I don't coach so much in the evenings, but we do 6 o'clock. But again, I've just had to cut back on the classes since we reopened.
Yeah.
And that's made it easier as well. So just not doing lots of classes in the day.
Yeah.
It's 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. But I don't do the evening ones other than on a Wednesday night.
So it definitely is evolved. It sounds like kind of the COVID and shutdowns and lockdowns have forced some of that evolution. I want your story to have a happy ending, though. And so as I'm thinking about this, right, in the back of my mind, it's thinking like you went all in, you've been doing this thing, you adjusted, you saw a problem, and then you shifted to 24 hours, and that had its issues. Like, it's always kind of 1 step, 2 steps back. So what keeps you from hanging it up? Like, what is it about your gym that, I mean, really? Yeah. That's it? Like, that's awesome.
Especially from the group side of it. So we do have like the community, the CrossFit thing, but the feedback that I get from a lot of my members is if they didn't have Imperial Bodies, they don't know where they'd be. And for me, that hits home because fitness literally saved me from that self-destruction. So for a lot of them, it is about their mental health and just leaving the shit of the real world outside and just having a laugh. It's not about weight loss. It's not about, being able to lift the heaviest numbers. It's just having fun, chatting, having a laugh, doing something.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still here.
So the same thing that got you in it is the thing that's keeping you in it, which is good. It means you've been able to deliver exactly what you hope to deliver. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it's not marketing. It's not tricks, right? It's not gimmicks. It's these things where it's like, it sounds like this thing is very much like your blood, sweat, tears, time, family. Like it's, there is no giving up.
No.
Like, it's not a thing.
It's definitely coming. Okay, over the last couple of months, it's come close to, do I really want to keep doing this? Because, a lot of us have been thrown into debt. So it's now an expensive hobby. It's something that I'm going to be paying off for the next 3 years before I even take a salary. So is that enough for me? Something's got to give back. So it's get a job and the gym's still here. I'm still making a difference. So that's where I'm at right now. Is making a difference enough? Don't know. I don't want to hang up the door keys yet, and I don't want to quit it all, but that's the point that I'm at. These are the numbers that I'm playing with in my head. Is it worth it? Are people going to still come on that basis that it can help them feel better and transform their health?
And it definitely is. We've talked to a lot of different folks, and definitely the last 18 months has taken them in this mindset, right? This state of mind of what you're talking about, where it's like, man, I'm weighing the good that I do. And it's kind of like, it's these intangible things that keep me going. And when someone says something that I've changed their lives or how it matters, all these things that I've done or that makes their lives different and better. And it's now helping take that passion for all those things that help you get up in the morning. And how can we tie that together to have that translate to more money?
Yeah.
And that definitely is like that moment where I think everybody at some point has to meet that wall where you just asked that question. I think that's a question a lot of gym owners have to look a hard, serious look in the mirror and be like, is just making a difference in people's lives enough? Or do I kind of sort of got to eat? And also be able to, because if you can, ever since we were little, I know for me, it was like, you want to find, like, if you can find a job that you love, it's no longer work.
Yep.
Right. And so you found the job that you love. And so we need to not have it be work anymore. Like, it needs to now be a thing where it's like, okay, this has got to work.
Well, but jobs pay you money too. That's an important.
That's my point, though. Like, we got to get to that piece.
Yeah.
You've got to get to that piece.
I said the same last week. I said if money wasn't an object and we could just get food from the local, you know, neighbours, and we didn't have to pay for anything, I've got the perfect job.
Yeah,
no,
you'd be there all day doing the
I
same thing you do. Yeah.
I've got bills to pay.
Right.
So so then it's a job.
Cool. Well, this thing that this situation you're describing too is like the most common situation, I would say, amongst gym owners. Everybody gets to this point either sometime. If all the gyms that have ever existed, the ones that aren't still open went to this through this and stopped, and the ones that are still open went to this and through this and kept going. And that's like, I think every single gym owner has been at this point, and that's where John and I kind of had picked up on this project, where we want to kind of like share these stories so people can start to see these same patterns that we were talking about, that John and I have been hearing for years, and so we can go, all right, guys, and because gym owners, these people are truly our people, is that it's like, guys, we just want so much better because of exactly the reasons you describe why you're doing it and why you keep doing it. It's like, this isn't somebody I'm not trying to just get somebody who's like, I want a fucking Porsche and I wanted this and I want that. I want. Like, that's not what anybody's in here for. And I think as people look in, they're going to see that there's very similar people with very similar passions and a very selfless giving attitude, that at some point they need to start to get it back. And they need to start getting back. You get all the good feedback back, all the feedback you wanted, all of the impact you wanted, you're having, except for financially. There's no financial windfall. There's lots of good feelings and good community and things like this, but there are ways to start, and that's why John and I had kind of started this project. Is I don't like when conversations like these, sometimes they can feel hopeless and sometimes they can feel hopeful. Yeah. And the hopeless ones, when we started hearing too many of those, we're like, we got to be enough, because these people cannot go become fucking accountants or janitors or whatever. Like they're not going to like it. They're going to be there and it will suck the soul out of their life. Like when you feel the impact you have in the day, you're not going to go stocking shelves at the grocery store. It's not, nobody wants to do that. It's too unsatisfying. And so I think that, the story you shared today is exactly the reason John and I had started this project here. And so to start to shine some light on these types of situations, let people know that there's a bit of a way out if they can start thinking a little bit differently about the business, a little bit differently about a few things, and just pay attention to the things you do in a different way. And it goes, so there's a lot that we'll see kind of on this platform here in the future for sure. That should be able to point you guys in a better direction. John, did you have anything else before I roll to the final questions?
I would say before the final questions, it would be the reason why this is beneficial. Like, this one is, we have you on record, right? We have you on record of like a moment in time, because that's all this is. Like, to get like super cheesy, right? We're all just a moment in time at any moment that we have it. But what thing that's nice about this is that I'm excited to see where you are 3 months from now or 6 months from now, of like these moments where if you can capture that and kind of get a feel of like, this is where I was. And then I'm excited to see what's next, because of the fact that you were so willing, and you've been so willing to be vulnerable and honest, because I think we get inundated, especially when you're talking like in the world of social media, we get inundated with everybody's PRs. Everybody, when they're in their leanest, meanest, and sickest, like it just is, that's all we ever see. And very rarely do we, especially folks that are entrepreneurs, they've built something that's a piece of themselves, do we get to have someone be like, no, like, this is actually what it looks like. This is actually what it sounds like. And I think that that's crazy important, because I think, again, why we started this project is that you're not alone. There's so many gym owners around the world that are going to feel and think and have gone through or about to go through everything that you've described. And the fact that you're willing to come out and honestly be like, this is what this looks like, everybody, is huge. It's huge, because the value to everyone else is just, it's sky high. And being able to record it, it's more or less just a comment of just thank you for coming on and being able to share that. And I think it leads in to kind of our typical last question that Tyler will hit you with.
Yeah. When you survive the COVID squeeze, you survive the startup phase, which those are two, by the way, those, the starting up your gym and then COVID, those two things combined, I would say, kill more than half of gyms. frankly, right? How many gyms survived 5 years? How many gyms survived 5 years and COVID? So we can survive. You know that. Like surviving you can do. The gym can stay open. We're resourceful, crafty people. But what I want to go to is if you had to give one piece of advice, and it can be on any kind of level, but from someone who maybe wants to go from coaching to make their way into owning their own space and wants to really do their thing on a bigger scale beyond just wanting to do things differently than the gym you're working in, right? You want to go to open your own spot. Give some advice to somebody who's maybe where you were years ago.
Be prepared to sacrifice your whole life, literally, and it's time with loved ones as well. You don't have time for yourself, so you've got to be prepared to do that.
Yeah.
And potentially lose people. So also be careful who you're going into the business with.
Yeah. There's a lot. Those are all the hard lessons to learn. But you know what's interesting is everybody that has been in any business would say that too. You know what I mean? I know people that have opened stores and storefronts and brick and mortars, and they'll say the same. Be careful be careful who you go into business with. Be married to the thing, because especially in the beginning, we've talked before, if you're starting businesses, I don't start any businesses with a bunch of money. I never have. So it's like, I have to sell my time. It's the only way to do it. And I think I think gym owners, very common. It's very common for gym owners to be bootstrapping their projects. And so your advice is almost nearly universal.
Yeah, it's not what you think it's going to be. It really isn't.
I thought when I started it would be just like sexy people and like nice gym and like I get to work out all day and then I just put on my shirt and then it'd be like, hey, you guys want to work out? And like, here's the things and it's all good. And that takes about two group classes for that to go away.
Yeah, it's not that.
Well, Deena, your gym is, honestly, the setup that it is exactly it's the game that I would want to be playing if I had a gym, because it speaks to exactly my passions, the way I like to train, partners type stuff with the globogym equipment, the bodybuilding style stuff, just enough heavy lifting, some space to move. Like it really is exactly what I would do if I had to open a gym. So you're already on the right track as far as I'm concerned. By the way, and we talk, people can make gym businesses out of any number of models, but you're the only person that I know personally who has the transition to also adding a 24-hour thing. And I think maybe what we should do is at some point in the future, as we get going, and maybe when we check back in, I'd like to talk a little bit more about how that fits into some of your pricing and packages and models and things like that, as we kind of roll out some more information and resources for you guys to tinker with. Then you guys will like. I'd really love to see how your framework gets applied, because I have a ton of ideas that I like to do with them. Like this is, I'm telling you, all I do is sit. It's like if I just had a small global gym with a CrossFit gym in it, we're set. And so I'm really stoked to see what you have is a very high potential location. You have a very high potential facility, and you have a very high potential personal investment into it. So it's really just a matter of time and lining a few things up. So you've already survived all the worst shit.
Yes, I have.
There you go. Awesome, Deena. Well, John, how do we find you?
How do we find you, Deena? How do people follow you, follow your journey, follow you online?
Instagram, it's at Imperial Bodies Gym, and the website's imperialbodies.co.uk.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, everybody on our end. You can follow the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. Go to hackyourgym.com for more information on the other stuff. And if you're listening, get into the Facebook group. If you're watching, you're already in the Facebook group. So thank you.
Yep. There you go.
All right, Deena. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon. John, that'll sign us off for today, correct?
Yep, that's it. Thanks, Deena.
I will see you guys.
Thank you.